I watched the debut of Creature Commandos last night. Okay, calm down. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't all that great either. Was it entertaining? Yes, but then again, so are those Mucinex commercials with that talking booger. Was it the be-all, end-all, most fantastic, bestest debut of all time that's going to launch the new DCU into the comic book money-making stratosphere? Well, it depends on who you ask. I'm sure a gazillion and one James Gunn worshippers waited up all night, hot pockets in hand, straws in the old Mountain Dew Baja Blast, just waiting for the stroke of midnight to hit, just to savor the latest and the greatest from their seemingly fearless leader. And I'm sure that they all found it to be just what they'd been waiting and or dying to see and more. And I think that that's just groovy. Good for them, I say. And for me, well, it was fine. It was okay. It was entertaining. It was funny. It was weird. It was even exciting at times. Now, did I find it questionably odd that it was deemed necessary to remind everyone on more than one occasion that Weasel apparently killed 27 children? Yes. Especially since, well, children will watch the series. I don't give a damn if it is rated R. It's animated and kids will want to watch it. Same as they'll want to purchase, say, this cute little child-killing Funko Pop. But the show script is from the mind of James Gunn, so, well, Now, I really do like the show's intro. It put me in mind of Johnny Quest, which is very, very cool. And Flag, well, kind of reminds me of a New Age race banner from Johnny Quest, which is also very, very cool. So far, my favorite characters in the series are Doc Phosphorus, Bride of Frankenstein, and oddly enough, Nina, that fish chick. And my least favorite, well, that honor goes to G.I. Robot. His yammering on and on about killing Nazis got on my nerves about as much as a certain living tree dude always saying, "I am Groot." I also found myself laughing out loud when I briefly spotted Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, an obvious homage to another great cartoon from the past and to Gunn's early work co-writing the script for 2002's live-action Scooby-Doo movie. Now, it's plain to see that James Gunn has fond childhood memories from television, films, and music, and it shows in his writing and directing skills. For me, at least, that's one of the main reasons Guardian of the Galaxy worked out so well. His ability to tap into those memories, and most notably, the soundtrack. Sitting in that theater, I got stoked every time a song came on that I used to listen to over and over again in my basement when I was a kid. They struck a chord, as did Chris Pratt's portrayal of Star-Lord did. In his mind, he seems to be forever 17, with his music being essential to how he walks the walk and talks the talk, picking which song to play on his Walkman before he flies off in his ship, scavenges for riches, picks a fight, or hits on Gamora. It was awesome. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, the film is a classic. And it's also what worries me. He seems to be trying to relive it in damn near everything that he's done ever since. Which, to be fair, are mainly the two sequels to Guardians, and it makes sense to want to repeat that magic after all. Who wouldn't? But this ain't Guardians of the Galaxy, and this ain't Marvel, the MCU. It's the rebirth of the DC universe, and for me at least, I liked the fact that DC isn't, or at least wasn't, anything like Marvel and the MCU. You see, I read both DC and Marvel comic books when I was a kid, and I liked that the worlds were different. Hell, in film, I loved it when Christopher Nolan and Christopher Bale went darker and more realistic with Batman and DC. Well, as much as one can be realistic in a comic book movie anyways. And on the flip side, I loved that Jon Favreau and Robert Downey Jr.'s take on Iron Man was sarcastic, witty, funny, and brighter. DC was DC, Marvel was Marvel. Was the best of two worlds, if you will. Now, I fear you won't be able to tell them apart in the near future. Creature Commandos, as fun and engaging as it seems to be so far, is also very similar to Gunn's version of the Suicide Squad, which in hand is also very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, a band of criminalistic misfits locked up together that then eventually come together to do battle for the greater good. And all to a groovy soundtrack. Now, far be it from me to sound pessimistic here, but I don't want to see Batman doing a dance-off with Brainiac, bro. And I don't care what all the James Gunn fanboys over on X and YouTube say. I will walk the hell out of the theater if Superman takes flight to David Bowie's Starman. Which is not a knock on Bowie at all. The album Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars is one of my favorite albums of all time. I just don't want to hear it while Superman is flying for the first time any more than I want to hear Up All Night by the Boomtown Rats when we finally do get to see Batman prowling the streets of Gotham within the new DCU. And so, my friends, the new DCU has indeed begun, and James Gunn promised that it would be with Creature Commandos. The first 2 episodes, well, they're entertaining. I have to admit that I like them far better than I thought that I would, and I'm looking forward to watching the remaining ones. Yes, to me at least, the Misfit criminal team up is extremely familiar, but for now, that's okay because it's entertaining. And it's something new from DC, and the fans deserve something new. I just hope the formula doesn't bleed over into the up-and-coming Superman film. And since Gunn claims that Commandos, Superman, and Peacemaker are all interconnected, well, I worry that it will, but James Gunn has gone on record as saying that this will be a more serious Superman film, which is good. And I'm being sincere here when I say that I hope that it turns out to be a great film. We need a great Superman film. I'm also being sincere when I say it's going to take a lot to make me let the thought of Henry Cavill as Superman come to pass, because in my mind, he was the perfect Superman, and I still feel to this day that he got screwed. That's enough about the Big Blue Boy Scout for now. It's kudos for Creature Commandos. It looks like DC and little Jimmy Gunn have a hit on their hands. So now where do we go from here? Well, that's it for today. If you have any comments and or concerns about anything I've talked about today, feel free to leave them in the section down below. And if you like today's show, well, hell, why don't you think about hitting that like button and maybe subscribing so you don't miss the next one. And as always, thanks so much for stopping by. God bless and socks out.